Hello, everybody. This is DFS Chan. Here I'm gonna go over tomorrow's LCK slate, and the LCK slate happens over one day, tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, and then I'm gonna go over the LPL DFS slate. That's gonna happen over the span of 2 days, one tomorrow and then one on Sunday morning. So I'm gonna go through the LCK slate real quick. Let me share my screen so that it's easier to follow what I'm saying. Here we go. So as you can see, tomorrow we have the best of 3 series regular season 2-game slate for the LCK. As mentioned before, this is the last week of the LCK regular season for the summer split. And then after this, obviously, they're going to go into the playoffs, just like some other major regions like LPL and LEC and LCS are doing right now. So LCK is really the only, the last major region to finish the regular season. So today we have DK Damwon Kia versus Live Sandbox. That's the first matchup of the day. As you guys probably saw in the Discord channel, I have posted the expected starters for these 4 teams on the slate. We're gonna get the starter confirmation for the Damwon Kia and Live Sandbox because that's the first LCK game, and we're gonna get some starter confirmation for these 2 teams. I'm not too concerned about potential sub risk here for Damwon Kia or Sandbox. One, because really, I mean, they've only been playing the 10 players, regular starters. Number two, because they both have a lot to play for still. So it's not like they have room to give, their young players or bench players to, for some playing time. But here, yeah, I mean, both teams are in the playoffs, locked into the playoffs, but they still have a lot to play for in terms of the playoff seeding, as you can see. I wrote here. They can either team can finish potentially in the number 2 spot. And that's very important in the LCK playoffs because the top 2 teams advance to the second round of the tournament automatically, as the 6 teams total make the LCK playoffs. So obviously, like, these 2 teams have a lot to play for, and so I'm not too worried about the starter, substitution risk here. So we can presume that the same starters will start. So that's the first, obviously, topic that we need to go through when you are building the roster, just to worry about any sub risk. And here there isn't any, so that's great. Second, I look at the CKPM metrics, the combined kills per minute, to measure the kill upside and the kill pace for this matchup. So as you can see, Damwon Kia has been playing much faster than Sandbox at 0.80, and then Sandbox has been playing at 0.69 combined kills per minute. If you combine those 2, you get a combined kills per minute for the actual matchup today. As you can see, it's 1.49, and then for the games that started in July 1st and on, as you can see, Damwon Kia has been playing a tad bit faster, and then Sandbox has been playing a tad bit slower, which resulted in the exact same combined kills per minute metric. So yeah, I mean, 1.49 is not great if you compare that to like an LPA standard, but in the LCK, that's pretty good. And as you can see for the second matchup, which I'll go through later, it turns out that Damwon Kia versus Live Sandbox, this first LCK matchup, is actually projected to be a faster kill upside game. But whether that is true or not, we'll see. But usually this is a good indicator. So I will probably just go by the analytics. The third metric that I usually look at is for the actual matchup. is the jungle control percentage between these two teams. For all the games throughout the entire summer split, as you can see, Damwon Kia had plus 4.2% advantage over Sandbox. And then for the games that started in July and on, it actually has even increased a little more in Damwon Kia's favor. So as you can see, Damwon Kia is a big favorite here at minus 300 for Vegas odds. And these dashes right here, what they stand for is just the advantage that Damwon Kia has over Sandbox. So I just went through basically all the metrics like dragon percentage, baron percentage, first tower percentage, first blood percentage. So I went through all of these, just compared them to the Sandbox's metrics. And then obviously if Damwon Kia's is better, then I just put a dash on. So it kind of signifies what advantage Damwon Kia has compared to Sandbox for all games, and then also for recent July games, just comparatively. So it looks like Damwon Kia has a significant advantage over Sandbox, and the odds reflect that as well. Not always does my comparison or my analysis lines up with the Vegas odds. Obviously, you saw yesterday, I think Dignitas and Immortals, it didn't line up. So, this is the independent analysis that I do to see if there is any edge, or if that actually, matches up with the Vegas odds, or whoever people think in terms of the game prediction. So ultimately, I do think Damwon Kia is going to win. Last thing I do is just based on my eye test, just based on my experience of watching Damwon Kia recently, and watching Sandbox over the last month or so. I do think Damwon Kia has been improving. I know they obviously were the world champions last year, but they they struggled a little bit, especially their bottom lane, Ghost and Barrel. Let me pull up the starters real quick here. Expected starters. So as you can see, Khan, Canyon, Showmaker, Ghost, Barrel. So Ghost and Barrel actually have struggled quite a bit in the early part of the summer split, just based on my eye test and based on what experts were saying, and the commentators and everything. So it was actually somewhat consistently known in the industry that the bottom lane for Damwon Kia has been struggling. But, over the last month or so, they kind of picked it up after they benched Ghost for a little while. And then they had like bunch of like different starters. Kenyon was playing mid, Showmaker was playing AD carry, and they had a new jungler in Malrang. So anyway, as you guys know, if you play DFS and played Damwon Kia players, as you guys know, that, they had some mixed rosters starting back 2 months ago or so, but now they're back to their usual starters, and over the last month or so they've been playing much better. So I think Damwon Kia has been in much better form recently, so that's why I favor Damwon Kia. And actually, it looks like, I think earlier when I first saw the odds, it was at minus 285, and now it's at minus 300. So I think, the bettors are moving in that direction as well. But on the other side, I think Sandbox makes a decent GPP play as well. I mean, they have not been, they're not a joke either. I mean, they are in the playoffs for a reason. They were in the first place for a while until they lost to KT in the last series. They were on a winning streak for a while there. So, I mean, Sandbox is it's a good they're a good team as well. It's just, I just don't know if they are good enough to beat Damwon Kia today. I think Damwon Kia has been in better form than Sandbox is, obviously, because Sandbox has lost to KT. Frankly, that's the game that they should have won if they wanted a bye in the playoffs, securing number 1 or number 2 seed. But it's looking difficult for Sandbox to maintain that, as they lost to KT in a really bad manner. So anyway, long story short, I think Damwon Kia wins, but I think Sandbox makes an interesting GPP play. The second LCK game is KT versus Africa. Africa is the favorite, at minus 210. As you guys can see, the playoffs motivation, KT has been eliminated, even though they just beat Sandbox. They just got eliminated. They were eliminated about as of a week ago. Africa is still they're locked in the playoffs as most likely as the number 6 seed, the last seed of the playoffs. But there is a scenario where if they win 2-0 today, and then if Genji, I think Genji, who's in the 5th place, loses 0-2 in their respective series tomorrow, there is a chance that Africa can move up a spot in the playoff seeding. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because it really depends on who they want to face. Obviously, if number 3 and number 4, turns out to be Damwon Kia, then obviously I don't know if they want to play them, or T1. I don't know. So we'll see how that pans out. But I think for the time being, they really want to win. I know Africa has been in decent form as of late. And KT obviously had just coming off of a big upset over Sandbox, but I think Africa has a lot more motivation here. And then, so I looked at the combined kills per minute metric. As I mentioned earlier, this matchup is it's not projected to be as fast as Damwon Kia versus Sandbox. So I think this is probably gonna be my short stack matchup. So I think optimally, if you were to go with 2 favorites, with Damwon Kia and then Africa, I would probably get a long stack from Damwon Kia and then short stack from Africa. I think that's going to be the optimal lineup, just based on the combined kills per minute, and then obviously based on the odds. So, I mean, it's going to be a popular build, and I think ownership on that kind of build is going to be very high through the roof. So you'll just have to differentiate yourself, whether you want to play the top laner stack or jungle stack. I haven't had a chance to actually do a build yet, given the pricing and all that. If you have to go, top laner stacks, that wouldn't be too bad, because Damwon Kia has Khan, who's been lights out this split, and then Africa has Keen, and he's been lights out for that team as well. So those 2 are really good top laners that, sometimes can carry their teams, tend to play a lot of carry champions as well. So, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be the worst idea instead of stacking the junglers. The junglers, I mean, Canyon for Damwon Kia, and then I think it's Dread. Let me see. Yeah, Dread. Dread is the engine for that team as well. So, I mean, I think optimally you want to stack the junglers, but if it turns out to be, just look at the salary, how much salary you'll have left. Obviously, if that's the stack that you can fit in, just given maximizing your salary, then it's gonna be the highest owned. Obviously stacking play for cash lineups or optimal lineups. So you'll just have to differentiate yourself a little bit. But yeah, so I can kind of go through each the players to focus on each team. After I go through this last metric, jungle control percentage for KT versus Africa. As you can see, actually, KT has been better in jungle control, over Africa's actually, which is surprising to me, because Africa has been a better team, and Africa is a favorite based on Vegas odds. So that kind of tells me that, KT is a live underdog. Obviously, like I said, KT, has been eliminated from the playoffs, and there is a chance that KT plays a lot of new players or up and coming players like Gideon over Blank. I know Blank is a solid player, and Blank actually, just to go back in the last series, KT's last series, KT lost game 1 with Gideon starting. So they brought in Blank in game 2, and they won. And KT played game 3 with Blank still in the jungling spot. So they won games 2 and 3 with Blank in the jungle spot. So who knows who they're going to start. Gideon is actually a younger, the player that they're developing for their team. unlike Blank, who has had a lot of experience. Like he used to play at T1 for T1, and now he's at KT. So who knows who they're gonna start? I mean, jungling spot and also the bottom lane, the 80 carry and the support position are the other two spots where there could be substitution risk. So we'll see how that pans out. So just like the other slate, the last slate that KT was on, there is a lot of substitution risk with KT players. So, just be mindful of that if you are playing KT as a GPP play. But yeah, so I do think Afrika wins here as well, but KT also makes for an interesting GPP. Yeah, I mean, and then some people ask me, like, between those two underdogs, between Sandbox and KT, who, is a better underdog and who provides a better leverage. Obviously, I think the ownership's going to go like this. I mean, DK, Damwon Kia, and then Afrika, and then KT, and Sandbox. So I think just from the ownership and leverage standpoint, I think Sandbox is the best one. And also just based on the matchups, I do think Sandbox is a better team than KT is. I'm just comparing the underdogs. Obviously, Sandbox is in the playoffs and KT is not for that reason. But Damwon Kia is actually a much better team than Afrika is. So that makes it very interesting. I feel like this is obviously a higher overall competitive level matchup compared to the other KT and Afrika. So it's a very interesting dynamic. I do think all the dogs are live today. I don't say that often, but I do think at the end, Damwon Kia and Afrika will win. So, I mean, if I had to choose, I would probably just choose Sandbox. This is kind of something that Eric was talking about as an underdog. I mean, just the fact that they have a higher combined kills per minute metric compared to, let's see. Oh, actually, no. I take it back. I'm sorry. KT has a higher combined kills per minute compared to Sandbox. So obviously, if KT ends up winning and then Sandbox ends up winning, it's likely that KT is going to score higher, even though the overall matchup combined kills per minute is higher in the Sandbox game compared versus Damwon Kia. So it all depends on who you think will dictate the pace. I do think Damwon Kia is always the one who they dictate their pace in their respective matchups. And then KT and Afrika, I mean, there is a chance that KT can dictate the pace, but Afrika just having a lot of motivation, there's a chance that Afrika just plays very slow and just, play it very methodically and then play a slower game. So, yeah, I really do not have an edge here. So I think I want to play both teams here. So I think I'll probably just have one or two underdog lineups and then mostly Damwon Kia and Afrika here. So anyway, so that's it for the LCK. Let me know if you guys have any questions there. And then let me go through LPL. Here, let me pull it up so that you guys can see better. So LPL is a best of 5 series, and like I said, it's happening over the span of 2 days. One tomorrow morning, and then one Sunday morning. Best of 5 series, and as mentioned before, in a best of 5 series, better team tends to win more often than not. So top eSports. Minus 300 versus LNG. They just LNG is coming off of a very nice series win against Suning in a 3-2, very closely fought series. LNG looks pretty solid. But here, I mean, just based on my eye test, I'll go through that first because you guys can see the metrics visually. Top eSports has been a better team, I think. Top eSports is a better version of LNG, in my opinion. I think it's a stylistically nightmare matchup for LNG. I do think Top eSports smashes here. There is a chance that top esports makes some really, really dumb mistakes, which can cost them games. But in a best of 5 series, what are the odds that they're going to do that in 3 straight games? I feel like they're going to get an early lead and they're going to snowball. And, it's more than likely that they're going to win either 2 of those games or 1 of those games. And then overall, methodically, I think top esports is also a better team. And I feel like top esports makes those dumb mistakes against some bad teams. I think they're notoriously known for playing down to their opponent's level. I think, that's why they were upset by Rogue Warriors one time in the regular season in the summer split, as you guys may remember. But yeah, top esports, a lot of the times like I said, they play down to their opponent's level. But here, LNG being a good team in the playoffs, I think top esports will show up and be focused and try to avoid those same mistakes like they did in the summer split. And yeah, another eye test observation is that Knight, the mid laner for top esports, is a must if you are playing top esports and stacking their players. Obviously, he really has been probably the best mid laner, maybe other than FPX's Doinb. I mean, those two, Knight for top esports and then Doinb for FPX, have been the best best mid laners. Or best players, period, in the LPL. So, and I feel like Knight versus Icon for LNG is going to be a, how should I say it? I do think maybe Knight will just shit on Icon, mildly put. So I do think top esports will have a big advantage there. So there's a mid advantage there in the mid lane. And then let's go through the jungle control percentage here first, since I'm talking about the laning phase. Jungle control percentage, as you can see, LNG had a very slight favorite advantage over the span of all the games in the summer split, but in just July games only, you guys can see the top esports has been improving a lot. And frankly, top esports has been a better jungling team compared to LNG's metric here by 2.7%. So that's a quite of a uptick there for top esports in favor of top esports. So yeah, so that kind of supports my position on top esports that they're gonna win. And yeah, also they won the head-to-head 2-1 in week 8. So top esports has beaten them before. But yeah, in terms of the actual kill pace for DFS purposes, this turns out to be a slower matchup overall compared to the second LPL matchup. Even though, I mean, as you can see, top esports actually is the fastest combined kills per minute team among all 4 LPL teams here. Including Team WE, who, we know they play fast as well. But top esports, I mean, they're just lights out. I mean, at 0.91 for all the games and then 0.93 for July games and on. So as you can see, I mean, if they are dictating the pace, I mean, there is a chance that this can just blow up. They can score very well. But the fact that LNG likes to play more in a more reserved fashion and play slower at 0.76 and 0.75. I mean, so just overall, I mean, it's projected to be a slower matchup compared to the second LPL matchup. So maybe a short stack. So who knows in the optimal setting. The second LPL matchup is BLG versus WE. Actually, this opened up as a very close odds. I think it was at -115 for both teams, and then I guess it looked like a lot of the bettors just smashing Team WE to win. I think just based on the recent form that they just beat OMG 3-0, but unlike those bettors, I'm not buying much into that. OMG is a shitty team. Like I said, they're a fraudulent team. Just if you look at OMG's metrics, you knew that Team WE had an advantage in almost every single metric that we look at. So I'm not putting too much value in that 3-0 sweep by Team WE. I know they are a good team. Obviously, they're in the playoffs, but here they're going up against a juggernaut and Billy Gaming and BLG. And as you can see, I mean, I was looking at all the metrics in here. I mean, you can see the jungle control percentage advantage. Team WE had a slight favorite advantage here over the span of all the games. But since July, I mean, BLG has been a much better jungle controlling team. And then you look at other metrics, and actually BLG was ahead in even more metrics compared to Team WE. So I actually have to favor BLG here. I mean, I mentioned this before last time when BLG played, but BLG has been improving, you know, as a team, and they've been in really good form lately. I feel like I told this to another person that, you know, we used to do videos together, but BLG can be a scary team coming into the playoffs. And I said this on that video, BLG could beat whoever they're playing in the first game. And turns out to be it's Team WE. I know Team WE is coming off of a nice win, like I said, against OMG, but I'm going to have to favor BLG here. I'm not scared to take BLG, the underdog, based on the Vegas odds, but all the metrics are pointing in BLG's direction. So I'm going to say BLG upsets Team WE. Well, first, let me go up here and TS wins. Yes, he is a better version of. Then the second LPL matchup, like I said, BLG upsets Team WE. All metrics point in BLG's direction. So yeah, I think it's more of a recency bias issue here for Team WE to be the favorite based on the Vegas odds. So yeah, I think I'm gonna play a lot more BLG than Team WE. That's gonna help me fit in a lot of top esports or a lot of BLG, obviously, just construction-wise, roster construction-wise. It's gonna be a you know, an easier build if you are using BLG players, obviously, because they're the underdog. So yeah, I haven't looked at the DraftKings pricing yet. Like I said, these opened up as even odds, so I don't know who are the better, you know, players in terms of pricing. But like I said, I don't really look at the pricing before I even look at the matchup and analyze these matchups. So yeah, anyway, if you have any questions on roster construction, let me know as well. And then, yeah, last thing is, like I said, for DFS purposes, combined kills per minute for this matchup, the second LPL matchup is projected to be a higher and faster matchup compared to the first LPL matchup. It's at 1.73 for all games and 1.76 in all July games and on, you know, for the BLG and Team WE. So anyway, so and then, you know, as you can see, they are playing faster in July games, so that's a good trend in our direction that supports our position. So anyway, so that's what I have for you guys today. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Like I said, for the player selection, I always look at player selection. I look at kill participation percentage, and then kill share percentage. And then I look at their goal difference at 10 minutes. And then I also look at the number of points given up by the opponent's position. So anyway. So that's what I got for you guys today. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Sorry, I'm uploading it so late, but you know, obviously these slates do not start until 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So let me know.